million, at least 15 million. But before we ask for 15 million straight up, and I think it sounds more palatable saying asking for 3, you know, put it in little chunks. We could even take the 15 million out, you know, not to exceed 3 5 million general obligation bonds, and then we don't ever have to say 15. That's another possibility.
Justin, what would you think we put, shall Wasatch County be authorized to issue over the next 20 years, $3-5 million government obligation bonds?
I think that's great.
For
yeah,
a total,
it's the
because
same.
I think we want to put a time limit.
Okay.
So that we're not going to issue one on top of one another.
Right, right. And it gets the idea, oh, okay, it's 5 million now, over 20 years it's going to be 15 if they do the math. You know, that's kind of the vibe I was trying to get across.
Okay,
It's
look
not
at
that
that.
much money, you know. $5 million is a lot of money, but it's not 15.
So is it 20 years though? I thought we talked about 15 years.
Well,
15 million over 20 years.
Oh, I thought it was 3 5-year segments.
Yeah, but we're giving ourselves a 5-year buffer on the end of that to, because as they overlap, you know, I mean, things
20 is
don't
the outside, right?
always happen perfect timing.
No.
So we would just
Well,
take...
No, I'm serious. It's
So
like
you could just
depending
take
on
the,
grant
for a total
or
bond
a
amount not to exceed
landowner, it's
15
like,
million
it just gives you an
out.
extra.
Yeah, I think we should take that out
I mean,
too.
it's simple.
What's
math.
that?
Just take out the not to exceed 15 million
Yeah,
because
for a total bond amount not to exceed 15 million, just take it out.
Yeah, but I like that there.
I think,
For the lay person,
yeah.
I think that they need to see that.
I
okay,
do
let's
too.
back.
Okay.
They need to see it to know that
That's
it's
it.
not a blank check.
Or,
Okay.
yeah.
And the other thing I
Okay,
did,
and I think
moving
they'll
to the
put
next
that in
paragraph, is
anyway.
that used to be at the end. I moved the purpose statement up to the very next line. You know, for the purpose of ensuring the permanent protection of real property in its natural state, using conservation easements for agricultural and recreational open space, financing, or paying the related costs of the same. I think it, you know, hit them next.
Okay, so it's basically saying conservation easements, which I'm all for conservation easements, but that's what that says, is it's only for conservation easements.
Yeah, and that's what it said before.
You've got another shall here, so you're asking a two-part question.
There's actually a third too.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that we're just trying to say, do you want this bond or not? You see what I mean? So when we do another shall there, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, okay, I'm just trying to look at it from the, you know, just the writing viewpoint. Are we asking 3 separate proposals here?
It's 3 subparts of the same proposal. The problem is if you don't put the shall, that's going to be one heck of a run-on sentence.
Yes, it is, so can we put a period there and just do not something like plus or also?
I tried structuring it that way. It didn't work very well. Too many also.
I think the semicolon
It did the
ties it
semicolon
together,
also.
so I think it's okay. Grammatically, I mean, I know it's
How
long,
about
but
just and the county be authorized to pay from bond amounts all expenses?
I tried
with this.
I tried doing something like that.
And not to exceed that and retire, that would match.
but the and then makes it become a
I think
long
we're
run-on
overthinking
sentence.
this. The bond attorney's gonna just do their own draft, and then
Okay.
we get to look at that draft.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We look at that draft and go, okay, you know.
There's going
but
to be a lot of legalese that goes into this that we haven't seen.
I think we're overthinking.
I'm okay with
the
that.
Okay.
action. All I'm saying is right there, it does say just conservation easements. Now, in our bylaws, they have to leverage the money, the seed money, but it may be for, what else could it
Outright
be?
purchases.
Well, I was gonna say for
If
just
that-
land preservation,
What if
for
we just,
open space preservation.
what if we just say for the purpose of ensuring the permanent protection of real property in its natural state? Or do we even want to say in its natural state? I mean, I don't know. We could
I'm
just say for the
saying
purpose.
Open space.
Yeah, for the purpose of
preservation.
ensuring the permanent protection of real property.
for agriculture and recreational open space.
Or permanent protection of open space property. That could shorten it.
I want to take recreational off open space.
Because that would cover it still. Because I think we do want to allow more tools here. But
That's
even
what
though
I'm worried about.
conservation
I don't-
easement
We don't
is
want
the
to
main
tie our
thing.
hands with.
If there's some incredible opportunity and it's not a conservation easement, or maybe a portion of it is conservation easement, but the other portion is gonna be more recreational, that's gonna be not have a conservation easement on it, are
For
we
the
tying our
purpose of
hands to just
ensuring-
conservation? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we could be a broader term there.
Could we take out conservation easement and say, in its natural state using conservation tools or preservation tools for agriculture and recreational?
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
preservation tools. would work.
Preservation tools.
Yeah, just more general.
Broad enough without being too specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we say open space preservation. What do you think? No?
We do say open space on the next line down. Either way.
I think we're gonna take out the recreational. I'm just
Why
putting
don't
it all in
we
one
take
big packet.
recreational out?
I don't know why we would, because
Okay.
there could be,
What did you say? Land preservation.
there could be
Preservation tools.
instances where it would be a great place to put a trail through or something to that effect.
Or bike, yeah.
And the people would then get to use it.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
Yeah,
trying
so
to
I'm
have
just
a broad
saying, if
language.
there's recreation in it, then there might be something,
There could be some open space that wouldn't have recreation, though. That's the
Oh,
other risk. Right? That's what
yeah.
I'm thinking, like a wildlife corridor.
And
No
or-
recreational component, but it doesn't fit either of these definitions.
Yeah.
How does that look, using Ryan's language right there? In its natural state, using land preservation tools for agricultural and recreation open space.
I would take recreational out. No, let me think about this one.
Maybe we should say agricultural,
I actually don't even like natural state either.
do we have to put agricultural or
It's an
recreational in
agricultural
it? Just take them both out, because it's for the preservation of open space. Now, in our bylaws, we can have the fact that they can have recreational components to it, they can have other components to it, but agricultural open space, it doesn't necessarily just have to be agricultural.
Yeah, I think
Does
you're
that
right.
make sense?
I think we just say for
It
the
just
purpose of
open
ensuring the
space.
permanent protection of open space in the valley.
Yeah.
Beaver Wasatch Fund.
Okay.
I think something like that, because I think if you get into saying like natural state.
Even
the attorney in me, right?
agricultural, it's
The attorney
like,
in me automatically looks at that and says, well, agricultural use is not a natural state. Natural state has to be natural state.
Right.
Swan or preserve is the only version of natural state.
right, if you're tilling the land, it's not,
Natural state.
right.
You want me to take that out?
I
Yeah,
take it out.
take them both out.
I take all
Okay.
of it.
Just for reference, moving along, we'll likely run into some damaged lands that can be rehabilitated.
For sure.
I mean, if it's a.
Restored, right.
If it's a quarry, that isn't what I'm talking about. But if for whatever reason something's been overgrazed, or it's had a flood, or there's some structures on it that need to be removed, and I wouldn't want us to put handcuffs on that we can't go in and with
So
some
we just say for open
remediation or
space.
whatever would be the appropriate lingo.
Right.
Be able
That's
to
what I say, I
step in.
think we're
Okay, so I'm-
putting handcuffs on.
So I'm going to so right now we're at permanent protection of real property using land preservation tools for open space, and take out agricultural and
Mhm.
recreational,
Mm-hmm.
just for open space.
I would just say for the purpose of ensuring the permanent protection of open space
Using
in
land.
Wasatch County. In the county. I mean, that I wouldn't say, unless you absolutely think the rest of it needs to be said.
I don't think so. I mean, in our discussion, agricultural land could be our primary objective, but we don't want to limit it.
Definitely
Limit it.
is.
We actually should say the
Def-
county, because Wasatch County is defined as the county above.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Okay. Okay, so read that.
For the purpose of ensuring the permanent protection of open space within the county using land preservation tools and financing or paying the related cost of the same. Sounds good
Yeah.
enough to me. And
Uh-huh.
like we've said, it'll be tweaked and massaged and
Yeah, they're gonna
Manipulated.
totally,
Do we want to say using land preservation tools for financing and paying the related costs of the same?
We're not using land preservation tools for financing.
Okay.
So I see what you're getting at, but and there's something I don't like about it still, but I'll think on
Maybe we need a semicolon there. With financing or paying the related costs of the same, semicolon. With financing, I don't know.
Because what we're saying is that we'll finance, we'll use use this money to finance a landowner's use of the preservation tools. That's what we're saying. We'll finance or pay for the cost of using these preservation tools to a landowner, right? I mean, that's the purpose of the $15 million. But
Do we need
I
a
like
question
this.
mark at the end? Because we have shall, again, shall the county
I think it's like
authorize?
I think this
It's
is like
shall is a-
legislative.
It's
The vote on
a
it
declaration,
is
it's
shall.
not a
Yeah, it's not a
question. It's not a shall,
But they're going to
this?
say yes or no, but anyway, that's the ball.
It's mayor shall.
Okay, so are we,
There's no option in shall, it's you do it or
Mm-mm.
not.
Mhm.
so. is everybody-
There's no
is anybody-
question
No.
mark at the end of that one.
Anybody ready to move on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one I still have some question marks on, and Steve, I need you to get out your calculator.
I
So,
left it home on my desk.
well, you can use mine then. Because
I probably
you're
can't
our
think.
closest one to get this figured out. So I kind of took away some of the things up here. I'm just
Okay.
saying bond proposal, put on the November ballot, that's what we're asking for, and then this is open space proposal, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of the bond, so did we change this? Propose this over 20 years, we should probably say, just to make it very clear.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Okay, and then take out, and then take out the bond at 5 million. WOLB will deliver threshold and benchmarks for county council approval before requesting the next 5 million. Does that sound okay?
I think the way you have it is pretty good.
Okay.
Before requesting the next 5.
Okay, on the cost, we have the primary homes, how much per 100,000 evaluation for the 1 million, and we have the total there for the $5 million bond. But for the secondary homes and the commercial, we don't have that actual
It's the
number.
same, it's the same number. It's $9 per $100,000 of assessed value. The only difference is the commercial and secondary is gonna have a much higher value.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, so we still put in the 9 there?
yes, it's the same amount per 100,000 assessed value.
Because as a primary residency is like a 55% value reduction.
Yeah, no, it's 55% of value, 45%.
45%
Deduction.
reduction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
reduction.
if you had a,
So it's 100%.
so if you had a
commercial.
$500,000 home, 55% of that would be,
Is it a 45% per primary?
$275,000, right?
Or is it,
55% primary.
okay.
so you'd be talking 275,000, divide that by 100,000.
Right. Okay, but how do I say this?
I don't think we need to say it, just put it in
Primary
there.
homes, it is $9 per.
Times $9.
Okay, well, is this clear enough then?
Is that right?
That's for 100,000, so we need
Times five.
five.
I
Yeah,
think that's clear.
all right, but
Yeah,
the
but-
same $5 million home, $500,000 home or a $500,000 commercial would be
$45.
You could just say will be assessed at 100% of value, because you already have the equation up here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say, residential's 55% of value, commercial and second are 100% of value.
Mhm,
Those are the only two differences, right?
yeah.
So,
So where you got the question marks?
Well, again, because I'm a layman on this, I guess, and why won't that go over? Anyway, I'll get it over, so it's definitely for this, but, okay, we know what it's going to be for the primary homes. We figured out the $74, but it's not going to be the $74 for this secondary and
Well-
commercial. It would be
It
double
would-
that plus
it
a
would-
little more.
It would be that. It'd be $74 for a $5 million for a primary residence for $5 million.
Mhm.
A secondary home would be,
Help me understand, why is it $74?
Because of the differential percentage valuation.
if you went, Nine,
Well, 9 times 5 is $45.
all right, nine into 100,000.
Okay, but it's going to be
Oh, no,
double.
okay. Well, no. No, that should be $45.
It should be $45.
Yeah.
That's my-
Is it
Seven-
75?
Approximately $74,
It should be
45.
$45.
So 9 times 5 is 45.
Right. It's scary.
So
when
the
you-
74 is on the other then?
No, I don't think it is.
I tell you.
Because it's the same $100,000 assessment. What
No,
will
when you're
change
trying to- no,
is the number of $100,000 on a primary home.
But why can't we get that figure? We know it's 45 for the primary. So what's it going to be for the secondary? Isn't it
No,
going to be?
no, you're not understanding what we're
That's why
trying
I'm
to tell
saying,
you.
help me figure this
Okay,
out.
so what we just need to say is, instead of saying for primary homes, what it's gonna say is,
For residential.
this will cost all property owners $9 per 100,000 assessed valuation for 1 million bond.
Let me write this
And then
down.
the second line will say primary residents are assessed 55%
Okay.
of value. Second second homes and commercial are assessed 100%.
Can you gotta repeat all that?
Let me just do it.
Do you want to type it? Okay. Perfect.
I'm with you. And it's the same for commercial then, too, huh? Okay, is there such, I guess there's no such
Does
thing
your
as
thing
primary
work?
commercial.
Yeah, you
Commercial
said-
Oh, there it
Put that
is.
mouse
Got it,
around.
got it, got it.
No, if there's somebody that's like on a hotel, where they live in the manager side of it, we'll take a portion of that and treat it as a primary, the rest is secondary.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
This is our last slide. We're almost done. But who's going to do what
This is an important
now?
slide, though, because
Oh.
you gotta have those numbers cold, like Courtney was saying.
So while she's typing that up, how do we want to go about presenting?
Mhm,
I know last time you and I kind of got told that we were going to do it.
mhm.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that still.
Time is
I could take the
yeah.
first half, introduce the group, get to the point where we show those scenic pictures with like the examples.
Yeah,
And you can
scenic.
kind of take over from there.
Yeah, good with
So I
that.
do the first half, you do the second half. And
Is this a collaborative presentation at all, or is it
Well,
just?
Steve, do you want to do this very last one though, with the numbers? Do you want to do this? No?
No. Now, I think when we show it, if there's questions, the council's pretty aware of anything. And this is approximate numbers. It's not set in stone.
Tracy, maybe we should put approximate in there too, just to
Yeah.
clarify.
And the numbers change over time, too, every year.
Well, we'll have the bond attorney check that out too.
Yeah.
We'll put that on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then that will become more solid if they'll move forward, right? The whole plan is to say, will you move forward so we can get the bond attorney in, we can get this language refined, we can get the numbers down, and we can proceed with this educational process. And the people will know that we're doing something for open space in a timely way, where it's not just going to be thrown onto the ballot in 1 month, but we'll have all of these months to really discuss it thoroughly and see how we want to proceed here.
So it starts Wednesday at 4?
Yes. We might have a couple of items we need to get done first before this. We got a guy that needs to get out of there by 6. And hopefully this will go fast.
So we could, I'll just plan on being there at 3:45.
We'll do this one before we worry about the dog pound. 'Cause that could be
Dog
all-
pound. Oh, wait a minute, is that the deal that we were trying to work out together?
Yeah.
And you know it's on airport property with FAA money, right? Which shows another monkey in the wrench. Okay, guys, here's my clicker.
Boom.
And, oh darn, I forgot to turn it off last time. Well, that's okay, I'll make sure there's a new battery in it, but.
You'll be there, right?
Yeah, I will. But once you do it, then it's just that arrow, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you have to point it at the machine, even though they say you don't have to. But it usually works just fine.
Is there any way you can put this memory strip, and this
So, yeah, you
presentation
don't have to use my computer.
on the memory strip in case your computer won't
Sure.
It's not compatible to the
We just plug
overhead.
that in. We just plug this in so we can use it. So we have to be able to plug this in so we can use the clicker. And we're good.
It's the nature of technology that it fails when you need it.
Okay, how about that?
It's the opposite of it.
Okay, so we have, cost to property owners will be approximately $9 per 100,000 assessed valuation, primary assessed at 55, secondary 100%. Very good. Very good, whoops,
Yeah.
sorry. Very good. That makes sense to everybody?
Yep.
But we don't have a
Is it total value or market
there.
value? Sorry. Isn't it 55% of,
Market.
Total market value.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, it's not even really market value.
It
It's
isn't.
just- It's like assessed value, right?
Right,
So-
it's assessed value.
what do you mean it's not market value?
You always lag the market, you know that.
We got a lot of people who wouldn't agree with you.
Okay, well,
We'll
Fine.
probably have 400 here at Board of Equalization.
that's right. Okay, and then I just tried to summarize here at the end, but I think we need to ask another question. The board will develop bylaws, land criteria, forms and processes for educating property owners to various land preservation options, help, not helping, help owners through the conservation easement process for tax benefits, etc. So will the county council, here's our last question, will the county council put this on the ballot in November? Put this bond proposal on the ballot? Is that how we want to end
Is that the
it?
question for the workshop, or is that? I
No,
mean, I
that's the
guess-
last thing we want to ask them. Will you put this on the ballot as soon as possible?
We are suggesting,
Yes.
our recommendation
Okay.
is that,
We recommend.
right,
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need that to kind of bring everything to a head.
And this
Should,
might be another item that's split into two slides.
I was going to say, we could
Yeah,
put it right
it's-
here, right there. Will the county do this?
We come back.
And then what are your
That's fine.
questions? Or we could do it the way you
our
suggest.
That's what I
recommendation,
said, is that a question for the workshop?
because that's what we were supposed to do, right? They wanted us to recommend to them.
You know, I have a different understanding, so I thought we were asking them to give us a green light to go ahead, to come back in July or August to ask for the permission to put this on the ballot. Not now.
No.
We got a bunch of
we're
things.
We're asking them to commit to put it on the ballot.
Okay,
And if they don't commit to put it on the ballot, then that gives the citizens an opportunity to do a
okay.
petition to get it on the ballot. Enough
Okay.
time to put it on.
Okay. So the only, not only, the big condition is that we come back over the course of the summer
We'll come-
and get the final green light
We'll come back.
in August.
We'll come back.
No?
We'll come back a number of times before
Okay.
November with refinements to this. And the council may say, yeah, we'll put it on the ballot, but come August, they say, well, maybe we'll only do 5 million the first time. And look at it, they have that prerogative.
So I don't know if you want to use this wording or not, but I'm thinking it should be on a separate slide. We're trying to summarize. So I tried to summarize at the end that our goal is to do the criteria, provide these tools, get things worked out with the cities, educate, et cetera, and then we recommend this. So if there's a more tactful way to say
Let's
it.
say it's this, Heidi. WOLB, or whatever you want to call it, is here tonight, or is requesting
Okay.
that you, let's see how I want to say that this proposal be put on the ballot in November.
Okay.
I don't want to say that.
WOLB requests that the county council places this
Yeah, it's not passing.
No, WOLB request at the March 28th meeting
Ah, there
that
you go.
the county council approved to put this on the ballot for 2019.
on the ballot for 2018.
Yeah.
18,
Yeah.
and let the citizens decide.
What's Midway thinking about doing? Are they gonna do their own anyway?
That has yet to be engaged.
That's why I think we kinda need them to, they can decide whether it's gonna be on the ballot or not, but we need to kinda know how much. Because I think if we did the 3 increments of 5 for 15 total,
Now,
that might,
I can shrink that down so it won't be so.
that might be enough for Midway. They can always come back the following year and do more.
Thank you.
But if if the county just does 5 million, I'd be surprised if Midway doesn't do
Well,
their own.
we can push for the 15 on our proposal. I can't guarantee that in the
Right,
end they'll do it. I think we make enough logical sense, and if we come up with our bylaws and our thresholds, it may convince them that we've got some guidelines.
right, but what I hear Cortland saying is that they'll have another few months to figure out how much they're gonna put on. And I think that's what Midway's waiting to hear from us, is what is the plan, and is the county gonna go with the plan? So we almost have to let them know 2 days from now that we're hoping they recommend the 15 million for 20 years, because that's the long-range plan that could incorporate all these other areas of the county the best. And they almost have to vote on that on the 28th, because if they go, no, I'm not comfortable with this, we can, you know, and obviously if we don't meet certain benchmarks, that next 5 million does not have to be allocated. It says up to 15 million. They get to decide if they're going to allocate any more after this.
Do you think that's going to forestall Midway from pushing for their own bond, the 15 million
I
proposal?
don't know, and I say that in complete candor. Here's
Right,
three
right.
points that I would make. One is that I think, I'm kind of glad to know that it's this definitive, because I think it will drive some conversations and it will make some things happen. Let's see, how would I, without, at this stage, I'm trying to be too cute or displaying any confidences. Several of the proponents of Midway don't think it's enough money for Midway.
The whole 15 million?
There are a percentage of it based on
What kind of numbers have you
15,
heard?
18. Well, that hasn't been pushed. It hasn't been talked about. But I think it's fair to say that some of the members of the committee feel that 15, or our percentage, speaking as a Midway resident, that our percentage of that isn't enough for what Midway wants to do. Not that this isn't going to be applied, but it isn't enough for,
Is there,
just let me finish,
okay, sorry.
because I'm a train of thought and I don't want to get
That's
down a
the
side road.
reason for my question right at the beginning. Are we going to allow them to get a percentage of the seed money
Yeah.
and, I mean, of the
Matching.
grant matching funds or something
Yeah.
like that?
And then the second point would be that the work of this summer, as we move forward and have the public meetings and all the rest of that, there's a fairly fertile question about if there is going to be an initiative in Midway and if the city council is going to go